The 8th round of the North American Auto Club Challenge Series at Ohio, the Enerjuice 200, and we have a lot to talk about. Starting with the fallout from the PCC Cup Series Round of Talladega, Stan Gustaffson suffered multiple fractures on his legs and pelvis, and that will put him on the shelf for at least 8 months, which spells the end of the season for the Swedish driver. Nelson Racing elected to enter Tammy Barton in his place for the races Gustaffson would have been entered, which puts a small wrinkle on the Lucy Barton-Rebecca Pellerin championship battle, with both now being backed by a sibling in this title fight. In regards to the other NAAC drivers that contested that race, the Try Hard 500 champion Joey Torkson almost stole the win, but was taken out by the lap car of Vincenzo Focasato late in the running and had to settle for 8th. While Andrew Atwood finished 5th, Lucy Barton, Tammy Barton, and Connie Brooks were also entered but were involved in incidents not of their own doing, taking them out of race contention. Now talking about the North American Auto Club, following the race at the Bullring at the Twin Cities, Kira Downer and Kristen Young had a very heated exchange post-race due to their late race scuffle, but they do seem to have sorted out and turned on a new leaf this weekend. Mac Hanley was penalized for his rampage by getting parked from practice in this race, and another penalty was issued to Lucy Martin during that race when she jumped the restart. The officials present in the drivers' meeting tonight brought this and have stated that they will not take lightly to offending drivers and that there will be zero tolerance towards jumped restarts. This race is unusually scheduled in a Wednesday afternoon, as the North American Auto Club made a provision for whichever regular teams want to attempt the PCC Round of California at the Maxwell Center or the Round of Mansfield for trucks and lights, which will be ran nearby later this weekend. Now let's look at the starting lineup, with Ashcroft Family Racing sweeping the top 3 positions, with Kelly Ashcroft and Thomas Tucker making up the front row and Boyd Abbott flanking Lee Schmidt on row 2. Riley Mckee and Blake Chandler make up row number 3, while Rolly Sandy O'Nolan and Corbin Dempsey share row number 4. And in row number 5, Joey Torkson leads Lucy Martin, who is trying to gain as many points as she can over Rebecca Pellerin. There you see the drivers that failed to qualify for this event, and of course Stan Gustaffson was initially entered for this race, but his entry was withdrawn on Monday morning due to obvious circumstances. This race is scheduled to go for 200 laps, just about 80 miles in the shortest track we run in the United States this year, just under half a mile, and it is also one of the flattest ovals we get to run, topping out at just around 7 degrees of banking in the turns. We expect the pit cycle to be around lap 75, lap 80, mostly due to the tire consumption, which has been fairly high in relation to other circuits. The weather is looking pretty fine, a cool 67 degrees, 77 on the track, and a little bit stronger winds than we are used to, but with the cloudy weather, this leaves us with a very pleasant feeling for this race. Let's go trackside. Leading the field to the green, of course, Kelly Ashcroft. We get the green flag, and she already has a pretty good start. Boyd Abbott lagged a little bit, but he already gets back into form by the time they get to turn number 2. Thomas Tucker losing a lot of ground in this early going on, with Kelly Ashcroft now taking the lead away from the rest of the field as we start lap number 2. She already has a very solid gap over Abbott. Riley Mckee has taken 3rd. Lee Schmidt's on the way to taking the 4th spot, with Thomas Tucker now falling down to the 5th position, starting to have a lot of hard time trying to manage the field on the outside, as you see Blake Chandler, Ollie Sandy O'Nolan, Lucy Barton making moves with Joey Torkson right around them. Ashley Richardson appearing right there in the rear, and Thomas Tucker now loses 2 positions, about to lose a 4th position there as he drops behind the field. By lap number 7, Kira Downer already a lap down. The Speed Enterprises team seems to have just missed the setup, as Boyd Abbott now laps number 3, and now 8 laps in, Riley Mckee gets held up a little bit by the 3. There goes Blake Chandler and Lucy Barton. He just seems to have picked the worst line possible for the moment, as we're running on board with Boyd Abbott, who is 2nd place, almost hits the 200 of Kip Lemon, as Kelly Ashcroft's a little bit too far away, but he has her on the visual. Could have been much worse. He could have been even further away, as Blake Chandler is being held up by the 200 and the 14. Lucy Barton battling with him, but neither can actually make the move because they just happened to catch the 200 when the 200 was making a move on the 14, as Blake Chandler forces a 3 wide and makes it work on lap number 13, and Blake Chandler now safely in the 3rd position. In 25th place, about to be lapped, is Connie Brooks. In 25th and 26th are Connie Brooks and Caitlin Richler, as they are now under threat from getting lapped by Kelly Ashcroft already on lap number 22. So the field spreading out way too quickly, way too early, as you see Ruby Carson and Mac Henley up there. As Kelly Ashcroft now, whoa! Trouble almost happens for Kelly Ashcroft as she laps the number 3 again, while managing the field. And now look at Blake Chandler catching up the 99. He has just passed the 91 of Boyd Abbott, and he's just working his way forward already on the rear of the 99, ready to make the move for the lead. But Boyd Abbott has the inside line, trying to make the move, does not get to do it, and Kelly Ashcroft will maintain the 1st position. As you see her about to lap the 88 of Luke Pellerin. Luke Pellerin holding her up just a little bit, just enough for Blake Chandler to once again be right on her. As you go on board with Kelly Ashcroft, Chandler just attacking, just being very aggressive, trying to get the lead as soon as possible so he can run away, because Kelly Ashcroft has pretty much the better car. But if she is way too preoccupied with the lapped cars, Blake Chandler has a little bit of a chance. As you see, she gets a break from Luke Pellerin, goes to lap him, but Chandler right behind her, not letting out the pressure, just keeps it heavy on the 99. And as you see by lap 40, there he goes side by side on the inside of turn number 3, gets it done, and we have a new race leader. 40 laps out of 200, it's Blake Chandler leading away as he laps the 38 and the 81 off Corbin Dempsey. Bear in mind, those two started on row number 4. They started fairly up there. And Chandler now opens a little bit of a gap over Ashcroft. Ashcroft also still piling the pressure. But as you see, oh, he gets into the back of Rebecca Pellerin on lap 50. Rebecca Pellerin running in 13th place, Mckee Murata in 14th place, holding up Kelly Ashcroft. But now Rebecca Pellerin running a little bit too far behind from Lucy Martin. This is gonna be very dangerous for her championship run. She cannot afford to lose a lot of points, given she has a 50-point lead. She's trying to open the biggest lead possible, so she can pretty much run away with this, but it's gonna get pretty hard with not the very good run. Oh, contact between the 19 and the 3 as the 03 caught up this group. Look at this, the 19 just dumped Kira Downer into the pits, and Downer just took this opportunity and decided, well, gonna pit anyway, I'm already 4 laps down, what bad can it be? As Blake Chandler now laps the 33 again, has opened this very, very big lead over Kelly Ashcroft, almost a whole turn. And this has been very comfortable for him. 3rd place is still Boyd Abbott, as he now gets to lap the 58 of Ashley Richardson, has been running his own race, with Jamal Schmidt running in 4th and Lucy Barton right there battling for 5th as we reach lap number 65. As Ronnie Samples about to lap the 200 of Kip Lemon. Here comes Jenny Irving and Mckee Murata and Rebecca Pellerin. Almost contact between the 19 and the 200, but they sort it out. But 3 wide with Ronnie Samples, who is running in 9th place, mind you. So he's already falling under threat from Blake Chandler. As you take an onboard camera with him, as you see his stats throughout this season, he has been one of the top lap leaders this year, leading a total of 166 laps, 2 top 5s, but no wins. He is 5th in the championship, so there is that to take away from one of the best rookies we've seen in a long time. As he takes his leave into the pits by lap number 76, this is the first pit cycle. Caitlin Richler elects to pit with him, but she is a couple of laps down. Kelly Ashcroft pits on lap number 77, 1 lap after Chandler. And there goes Kristen Young, missing the pit entrance, hits the wall, and that could have been much worse, but she's not gonna have to go around. They seem to have called her way too late. When she committed, she was just past the pit entrance and tried anyway and just failed. But no harm, no foul, as Rebecca Pellerin from 7th place merging back on contact with the number 9 of Thomas Tucker. Race Control just called them up because that could have ended way worse. Look at Kira Downer and Adam Patterson, big contacts in front of McKinley. That could have been much worse as the field continues to run and Blake Chandler continues to lead as we enter lap 82 after the pit cycle has been completed. And he now is working on the 420 Toyota of Creeper Stevenson. Brett Finley, who's running in 8th place, trying to recover his lap, and he puts it in the inside of the 03, makes it work. And now Brett Finley is the new leader, is back on the lead lap. Blake Chandler continues to lead, but Kelly Ashcroft now running in a very distant 2nd place between a couple of lapped cars, but it's not like she's faster than them by any means. She's just retaining a very brisk pace. But by lap 96, she would start to pick up. And as you see, she has Blake Chandler once again on the visual, trying to get the move done as Blake Chandler runs a little bit too wide on the exit out of 4. This is all Kelly Ashcroft needed. And you look at the battle, just 1/10 away. Kelly Ashcroft stalking the number 03, just stalking, looking for an opening to make her move, and there she goes, tries it on the inside on lap number 98, and she will be back on the point, and Kelly Ashcroft is back on the lead of the race. As Chandler now stuck on the outside with Ollie Sandy O'Nolan, a lap car on his inside, and Sandy O'Nolan's faster, so Sandy O'Nolan's gonna have to pass him with Charlie Faulkner right behind him. And Charlie Faulkner's record as the most recent North American Auto Club and PCC Cup Series double winner, probably feeling very happy given Joey Torkson was unable to close it out and win in Talladega due to extraneous circumstances, namely called Vincenzo Focasato. So that's a record the 85 is going to hold near and dear for a long time as we hit the halfway point. In only under 30 minutes, one of the fastest races on record as Connie Brooks breaks down from the 23rd position. She's gonna have to go to the pits with a tire failure and will lose a couple more laps. And that's not great for the 28 driver. This puts a damper on her early championship run. In the meantime, by lap 108, Riley Mckee finds himself in the 3rd spot in the running order, having a very solid run as you see Connie Brooks now merging back on track. And he's just doing his thing and it's working. 4th place, Boyd Abbott just keeping his regularity, just staying on track, not trying anything fancy. Likewise with Jamal Schmidt, just staying on track, just do your thing, don't get into trouble, and you're gonna finish up high. As you see the battle for 6th place between Lucy Barton, Kirk Jones, and Brett Finley. Brett Finley, when he freed himself from Blake Chandler, just ran away and caught up to the 32 and the 98, and now they're on a very big battle for the 6th position. It's gonna be very interesting to see where this one goes as we are entering the back, as we are well into the back half of this race, with Kelly Ashcroft now catching up to the 32, the 98, and the 15. The 15 has taken the 6th position, and there goes Kelly Ashcroft all over the 32 and the 98, and she once again is just taking her time, picking them off one by one. Look at that. Makes the move on the 32, and she makes it look easy. Doesn't even look like Kirk Jones is the 2004 Series champion. But Kelly Ashcroft is the 2016 Series champion, so she is in no hurry and she knows what she's worth. And as you see, there she goes on the inside of the 15, and she has a look on the 55, which will leave us with only 4 cars on the lead lap when she sorts the 55 out. This has been fantastic. And there she goes on the inside of Jamal Schmidt, and we now only have 4 cars on the lead lap with 75 laps remaining. And Brett Finley once again trying to recover his lap. He is on a very brisk pace, so he has a chance to do it. And there he goes on the inside as we open lap 130. On the inside of Kelly Ashcroft. Is it gonna work? Looks like it will. She's stuck behind the 0 and the 3. And there goes Brett Finley on a 3 lead. Does not care at all about any championship or race implications. Brett Finley goes around the 99 and he's back on lead lap and he's now in 5th place. However, now he's stuck behind the 14 of Adam Patterson, and Kelly Ashcroft's gonna try to take that opportunity. Does not take the opportunity, but she is right behind him, stalking him once again, trying to get him through. But Adam Patterson's just holding up the Jimmy out of the 15 and the 99, with Blake Chandler trying to catch back up as we enter lap number 138. He is in a very isolated 2nd place. It's been very lonely, but he is starting to catch up the 9, though. However, he's gonna have to deal with a lot of lapped cars. By lap 140, Kelly Ashcroft now finds herself finally going through the 15, but now stuck behind the 14. So, oh, there she goes on the inside of turn number 3. Finally gets the nose into the 14 and makes the move to lap the 14 car, as Blake Chandler is the first taker in the 2nd and final pit cycle with just about 55 laps to go. Riley Mckee enters from 3rd at the same time. The following lap, it's the leader coming in, and Kelly Ashcroft's into the pits. This is gonna be the final time everyone pits. 4 tires, we should be good to go to the finish, as Boyd Abbott starting to extend his run into lap 147. Did 2 more laps than everyone else. That should help him overcut the 0-3, as Rebecca Pellerin's merging in. Caitlin Richler merging out. They make contact, and that's the first caution of the race on lap 148. And someone screwed up. I don't know who is, because Caitlin Richler was merging out, Rebecca Pellerin was merging in, and generally the car merging out is the one responsible, but it's not like Rebecca Pellerin made a lot of effort to avoid. And this is gonna lead to this weird situation where Boyd Abbott's the leader because of the overcut. We just didn't have enough time for the pit cycle to end. And this is gonna put Luke Pellerin back 1 lap up, back on the lead lap. But he's gonna be at the tail end of the lead lap, pretty far away. And we're gonna get the restart with Kelly Ashcroft right on the outside. And look at the start Kelly Ashcroft had, and I don't think that was teamwork. I think Boyd Abbott just slapped on the job, because here comes Blake Chandler to the inside. Riley Mckee also having a look at Vicky Murata appearing up there in 5th place. The caution being in the middle of the pit cycle just shuffled the entire order and put a lot of cars that weren't on the lead lap back on the lead lap. So now we're back to having 19 cars on the same lap. If the pit cycle had finished cycling out before the caution, we would have only had 4 cars on the lead lap. That's what's interesting, as Kelly Ashcroft just runs away with the lead. But as she starts to catch up to the lap cars by lap 170, the 03 already catches back up, and they're just seeing each other eye to eye as problems for Boyd Abbott. From 6th place, the 91's race will be essentially over. His effort to get a top 5 gets a damper put on it as he enters the pits with only a bit over 20 laps to go. Kelly Ashcroft was able to free herself once again from Blake Chandler. Opens another big difference, but now she has a big gaggle of cars by the time we get to 20 laps to go. Look at the amount of cars she has to lap. A lot of them. She had already put a lap down earlier, but because the pit cycle were put back on the lead lap, and she's now having to do that busy work all over again as she works on the 19 and the 77. Riley Mckee currently running in a very isolated 3rd place, but he's getting caught up by Lucy Martin and Olisende O'Nolan, with Blake Chandler in an even more isolated 2nd place. Tire down on the 03. He cannot seem to get a lucky break. Last week at the ring, the weekend before that at Milwaukee, then at Columbia, he just does not get to figure out at one finish. It just seems like whenever he has a good run, the car dies on him. And that should not be good for morale, as Kelly Ashcroft now is well safe into the lead with only 10 laps to a little bit over 10 laps to go, 11 laps to go as she laps the 89 of Ryan Faulkner. And Kip Lemon blows up right in front of Lucy Barton, who's running in third place with Riley Mckee, pretty much now isolated in the second position, managing the lap cars. You see Kip Lemon, 30th place, around 6-7 laps down, his race comes to a screeching halt. Rebecca Pellerin was able to work her way forward all the way to 6th, but look who's right ahead of her. Yeah, Rebecca Pellerin is a lap down from 6th place, so this green flag run has gone pretty for Kelly Ashcroft as she opens the final lap, as she laps the 69 of Peter Johnson, who had a pretty solid run so far, but that is not who we're focusing on. We're homing in on the defending series champion about to finally win her first race of the year. Kelly Ashcroft will take it all in Ohio. Kelly Ashcroft takes a very dominant win over Riley Mckee, Vicky Murata, and Lucy Barton, the only 4 cars to finish on the lead lap. As you see the rest of the top 10, Ronnie Samples, Rebecca Pellerin does wonders for her championship with Brett Finley, Luke Pellerin, Kirk Jones, and Joey Torkson taking the rest of the top 10. All of them only a lap down, but still finishing well up in the running order. The championship standings see Rebecca Pellerin continuing to lead with 51 points over Lucy Barton, 55 over her brother Luke Pellerin. Vicky Murata, 58 points behind, now takes the top rookie spot from Blake Chandler, who is now 64 points behind with that tire failure. Kirk Jones and Ruby Carson tied, 68 points behind. Connie Brooks and Thomas Tucker tied, 72 points behind in 8th. And Ashley Richardson, still on a part-time season, still in the 10th spot. Depending on how the bonus points goes, she could be a challenger for the title. The Rookie of the Year standings now see Ryan Faulkner leading Vicky Murata, Blake Chandler, and Peter Johnson. Boyd Abbott, with that car failure, just was not able to get a big break, and the title battle for Rookie of the Year seems to be between only 3 cars. The next race for the North American Auto Club will be the first triple-header weekend of the season. The Masters Park Northeastern Blast, Friday in Boston, Saturday in Waterbury, Sunday in Coventry. I will see you next time.